means keeping Krishna always in your heart. So let's continue reading today. The material tongue cannot chant. The material senses can only perceive the material. Our eye can only see gross material objects. Our ear can only hear material sounds, and the tongue can only pronounce material syllables. The tongue cannot utter the holy name, which is entirely spiritual and identical with the Sat Chit Ananda Rupa of the Lord, this form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Such a spiritual entity cannot be touched by material senses. But the holy name is so merciful that it descends from the spiritual realm to enter the heart of the conditioned soul and arise unto the tongue. Srila Prabhupada emphasized that we can chant the real holy name only when we try to serve Krishna. To illustrate this point, he invokes the well-known verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which says, Atha Sri Krishna Namadina Bhaved Grahyam Indrehi Sevanmukhehi Jihvado Swayam Eva Sprati Atha. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to or her tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. This is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 17.136. One more time I'll read the translation. Or the verse itself beautiful. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahim indriyehi sevanmukhehi jihvado swayameva sprati ataha. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Holy Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified. And one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. It's quite interesting whether tongue purified first and then the holy name comes, or holy name comes and then tongues get purified. It's like, seed first or the tree, a tree first or the seed thing, right? So it both goes together always. In fact, the Mukundamala verse that we are going to see tomorrow is quite important to tell that how Krishna's holy name is so very powerful, even if you don't know the meaning of Krishna's name, even if you don't concentrate, however it is, it gives its benefit. Not to say that whatever we are reading so far is of no use, but the point is, even if you are chanting inattentively, even if you're chanting accidentally, jokingly, whatever it is, when it can have benefit, then imagine how beneficial it is if we can focus and understand the holy name is a person and Krishna is holy name. Holy name is Krishna. And when we chant, what would be the effect of it? That's how we have to see that. Okay, let's move on. A face turned to service. That's the next subtitle. A face turned to service. The aforementioned words from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says in essence, when a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service to the Lord, Sevanmukhehi, then the holy name reveals himself as Sri Krishna. The Sanskrit word Sevanmukhe literally refers to one whose face is turned to service. Ilajiva Goswami explains that Sevanmukhe means being inclined to accept the Lord's name and form in service. That indicates that the devotee accepts Krishna in his heart and turns toward him by engaging his tongue and other senses in service. Then he can receive Krishna through hearing. The first and most important service to Krishna is using our time and attention in service of the holy name. One more time. The first And most important service to Krishna is using our time and attention in the service of the holy name. Gradually, one after another, all other services can be infused with Nama Seva. As we learn to receive Krishna through the years by chanting in a mood of service to Him, we begin to naturally perform all 9 processes of bhakti during Kirtana without even making an effort to do so. It all starts with present minded and not absent minded, hearing, singing, and meditating on holy name. Turn to Krishna while you chant. That is bhakti. The holy name is our first contact with Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that no one can ever save understand him, save one who renders service unto him. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that no one can ever understand him save one who renders service unto him. Sentence. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasvi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishatetat anantaram. This is Bhagavad Gita 18.55. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Please note this verse 18.55. So one can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into kingdom of God. So it's not only devotional service. As we do devotional service, we are fully conscious of whom we are doing this service to and why we are doing, who am I, and so forth. That consciousness, awareness, jnana is very important when we are performing service. And again, going back to the last week of Mukundamala Sloka. Krishna reveals himself only to his servants. From there, their specific relationship to him develops. Service is the starting point. Once we truly begin to serve Krishna, a little match is sparked in our hearts. Then, given the right environment, it grows until the full-blown flame of our love relationship with God is ablaze. Let us pause here to admit something important. Unfortunately, most of us don't have an active relationship with Krishna because there is already someone else at the center of our lives, ourselves. Day and night, we think in terms of I, me, and mine, and ask ourselves, do I like this or do I dislike this? Do I have enough of this? What will I do after I'm done with this? And so on. This is a beautiful paragraph. Let us pause here to admit something important. Unfortunately, most of us, almost everyone, don't have an active relationship with Krishna because there is already someone else at the center of our lives, ourselves. Day and night, we think in terms of I, me, and mine and ask ourselves. So I don't need to explain this one. Is pretty straightforward for all of us to realize whose center of attraction or attention and relationship for each one of us in our heart. Day and night, we think in terms of I, me, and mine and ask ourselves, do I like this or do I dislike this? Do I have enough of this? What will I do after I'm done with this? And so on. And also goes on, will this person who's center of my heart, likes me, loves me? What will happen if that something happened to that person? So all those different questions are our focal point besides Krishna. Let's continue. If we want a revelation of the pure name to take place, we have to take ourselves out of the center and instead place Krishna. That is, either we keep someone else in the center of our heart besides Krishna, or we keep ourselves in our heart as center, limelight, under the limelight. to be an attention for everything that we do in our life. So, if we want the revelation of the pure name to take place, we have to take ourselves out of the center and instead place Krishna there. Yes, ultimately we must do so. We do that either voluntarily or sometimes it could happen forcefully. It's always better to do things voluntarily, is much better than have to be forced to replace ourselves with Krishna. That will be painful. So, in relation to Krishna, this means don't chant to enjoy nice kirtan. Don't even chant to enjoy your private ecstasies. This is important. Sometimes devotees think like that. I get some ecstasy while I'm chanting, and they smile and do all sort of reactions to the faces. It will be temporary as soon as chanting is done and back to normal. Therefore, what Maharaj is saying, the relationship in relation to Kirtana, this means don't chant to enjoy nice Kirtan. Don't even chant to enjoy a private ecstasy. Don't stand in the way of Krishna. Put him in the center and truly chant for his pleasure. Chant with devotion attachment. Then you are on your way to receive Krishna within the temple of the heart in the form of his holy name. Nice, right? Then you are on your way to receive Krishna within the temple of the heart in the form of his holy name. Last section. How Krishna decides to reveal himself once someone decides to chant in the right way is nicely described by Srila Jiva Goswami. How Krishna decides to reveal himself once someone decides to chant in the right way is nicely described by Srila Jiva Goswami. So let's see this one. This is Krama Sandarbha, commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.18. These are words of Srila Jiva Goswami. First, a person must hear and chant the holy name to achieve purity of consciousness. Thereafter, when his heart has become pure, it is a fit appearance place for the Lord's beautiful form. As soon as the Lord's form thoroughly manifests in his heart, as a result of hearing descriptions of that form, the Bhakta experiences revelations about the Lord's qualities. As the Lord's qualities fully unfold, the defining characteristics that is his unique interrelationship with each of them are exhibited. Afterwards, when the Lord's name, form, qualities, and associates have completely manifested in the Bhakta's heart, the Lord pastimes blossom in their full splendor. The progression of sadhana has been delineated in this way with the intention of acquainting the bhaktas with the sequential process involved in the Lord's appearance within their heart. So the first thing, the person must hear and chant the holy name, and as they do this one, the purification of the consciousness takes place. That means like they cleanse the house to invite someone into the house. That's the best way to do. You don't call someone straight into the house when the house is messy. So we hear attentively, chant the holy name as we do this constantly, continuously in the association of the devotees like this. The purity of consciousness takes place. That means the place is ready for inviting Krishna, and we don't even have to invite Krishna. At that point of time, Krishna appears automatically by his beautiful form. As soon as the Lord appears in his beautiful transcendental form, when he manifests in our heart, like Dhruva Maharaj was chanting under the guidance of his Guru, he was able to see Krishna, all the material manifest, all the material things got cleansed, and Krishna appeared in his heart, Dhruva's heart. As a result of hearing, as the Lord appears in our heart, then we then meditate on his form and experience his qualities. And as we do this one, if not only Krishna appears in our heart, to interestingly, Krishna's concept appears, his bhaktas appears, we'll be able to see his wonderful qualities and beautiful forms, and all wonderful things can happen in our heart. So the progression of sadhana has been delineated in this way with the intention of acquainting the bhaktas with the sequential process involved in the Lord's appearance within their heart. Thank you all very much for joining this morning. You all have a wonderful rest of the day in Krishna consciousness. Chant and be happy. Hare Krishna. And we'll continue reading this next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.